Welcome everybody to Personal Effects, the place to see some of the best collectibles. John Burke is continuing on vacation, and John Davis is enjoying his time in the apartment.
I really am. I'm spending the week in the apartment filling in for John Burke. We have a very interesting show today. We have an expert from R.M. Smythe who is going to inform us about the collectability and value of antique stocks and bonds. They're worth a lot of money, and you may have some at home and you don't even know it.
If only I had some.
That's right.
Let's take a look right now at the White River, which runs through the entire state of Indiana. Io Haynes is nearby with late-night television's favorite mom, David Letterman's mom, Dorothy, who has a super collection of condiment sets. So excited she's going to be on the show today.
What else can you ask for David Letterman's mom today on Personal FX? I'm in the living room with a group of people who have joined us here in the apartment with a lot of interesting items they want to have appraised. This is the New Jersey contingent, essentially. Everyone's from New Jersey. Now, you four all know each other, and you came to the show together. And Mildred and Bob, you know each other, right?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Oh, yeah.
How long have you known each other?
Since 1939.
Quite a while. You know him pretty well. Mildred brought a very interesting lamp that she's going to have appraised, and we're going to get right on with it. If you want to join us here in the apartment, give us a call at 1-800-FX-FX-FX1. And now let's go out to Carmel, Indiana, with Io Haynes, who has an incredible super collector, David Letterman's mom.
How right you are. Now, if she looks familiar to you, it's because you have seen her as a correspondent on her son's show, The Late Show with David Letterman. Thank you for having us in your home today, Dorothy.
It's a pleasure to have you here.
Now, when did you decide to collect condiment sets?
When I was a little girl, Mother had these salt cellars that she put on the table like at Thanksgiving time, filled with salt that we could dip our celeries in.
Okay.
She didn't have the little spoons that go with it, but I gave most of the ones she had to my daughters, but this one is one that I kept that was hers.
Okay, and we should also say that it has gone past just salt dishes to mustard pots.
That's right.
Okay. Well, thankfully, Dorothy has taken time off her busy correspondence schedule, and she's with us today. Her collection has never been seen before on TV, so we have a first here.
That's great. Thank you, Io. Thank you, Dorothy. We look forward to seeing that. Well, Claire, it looks like a good show, so let's kick it off.
Oh, absolutely. And Marilena is joining us. I want to introduce you to two of our great appraisers, John Bruno and Rich Zelichowski.
Nice to meet you.
Hello.
Good to have you with us. You ready for our first appraisal of the day? Do you collect dolls by any chance?
I collect dolls, I collect bears, I collect just about anything.
And where did you collect these that you brought?
I had purchased this from a lady in Virginia 10 years ago. I like Steiff, so I had picked them up.
Okay, let's pass them along. Did you pay a lot of money for them?
A little bit, yeah. I close to purchase, list price.
Okay. Well, everybody knows Steiff for their teddy bears and their other older stuffed animals, and you have everything here that tells exactly what these are. This is a limited replication of some of their earlier pieces, and these date from the 1986-87 time frame.
Right. The original pieces came out more toward the turn of the century, usually 1910, 1915, and those originals are worth quite a lot. This piece that we left in the box is kind of fun because this is actually Marguerite Steiff. If you've ever wondered what she looked like.
Yep, here
well,
we go.
We'll come close here. And there she is with sort of a peasant outfit on, but some lifelike detail. And of course, they've all got the trademark Steiff button in the ear, as well as the original hang
These are
tags
designed
here.
to be collectible. So when we see on the box limited edition 3,000 pieces with certificate, are these valuable pieces or not?
This is a problem. You have to look at collectability both from the vintage standpoint and from the modern collectible standpoint. A hardcore Steiff collector is going to want these to complete their collection because it is part of the line. But its value is not going to be as high as one of the older bears or the stuffed dogs or any of those. I personally have trouble with limited edition collectibles because it's made to be collectible and sort of forcing an issue.
Let me pin you down on the price.
Rich?
Probably between $100 and $200 each, I'd say. You know,
Yeah.
for your set of three, somewhere between $300 and $600, depending on how fanatical a collector needs to, you know, a particular piece to complete his or
Agreed.
her set.
I agree 100%. I was going to go $500 for the set, and I think that's exactly where it belongs.
In
for the
that
three of
price
them.
range, I don't know how well you did, but would you like to put it up for sale?
I'll consider some offers.
We'll do that. We'll let you know at the end of the program.
thank
Thank you
you.
so much for bringing all your dolls in.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ed. And our number to call is 212-802-0082. Write down that number and use it throughout the show for any or all items up for sale. And Dave is going to join us next. Hi, Dave.
How you doing?
You got a watch?
Sure.
Collect watches?
Yes, once in a while. I got a few of them.
And where'd you get this one?
This I got at Clearance Antique World in Clearance, New York. And I happened to buy a package deal off this gentleman, this young lad about when I was starting. He just so happened to be starting like about the same age. And I don't think he realized what he had. And I just happened to...
So you got a good
stumble on-
price?
Yes, I got a very good deal.
Well, what's nice is we all know pocket watches are very, very collectible, and there are thousands and thousands out there. But you have one of the best, a Patek Philippe, which is right at the top of the top 10 of the best watches that are available out there.
And when was this one made?
This is probably, let's take a look at the back. Rich, your eyes are younger than mine.
From the style, it looks to have been made in, I'd say, the late 20s, early 30s.
Yeah.
It has that look. It's 18 karat gold, thusly marked. Patek Philippe logo, Swiss made, and still running like a charm. This is a very, very nice little watch here.
What's nice is that since these better quality watches have become so popular, you can go to any of the major jewelers and any of the major watch stores and really track their value on a year-to-year
But a
basis.
good point. You see the name
Patek Philippe is among the
Go with it.
10 best, if not one of the 5 best.
And what is the value?
This particular watch, it doesn't have the hunting case, so this is a little bit lower in the $500 to $700 range.
I'm going to say a little bit higher than that, probably close to the $1,000 range. And I would say more if it didn't have this little bit of scuffing on the face here. I mean, then we're talking 2,000 plus for a perfect condition watch.
Yeah, they can go crazy.
How well did you do?
Did very well.
Did very well?
In fact, people were trying to hunt me down to get it when I was walking out of the place. So I couldn't really sell it. It was still dark when I was looking at it and found out later it was worth a lot more.
Well, would you like them to call you today to
well,
find out?
yeah, I'd like to
some
find
bids?
out
There
if
you
somebody's
go.
interested and they want to buy it, then give us
Great.
a call, right?
Thank you so much for visiting with us
you're
today.
welcome.
And our next guest is Craig, and let's see what Craig bought in. Hi, Craig. Good to have you with us. Oh, this is nice. Where'd you get it?
Out of the trash.
Out of the trash? Somebody threw this away.
Every once in a while, I see something on this show that I just really covet. This is cool. Rocky and Bullwinkle, the best of the best from the 60s, and to have a cell, one of the original cells, and I think that's what this is. Rocky and Bullwinkle was never meant to be a kid's cartoon. It's an adult cartoon. It was always meant to be a social commentary of the times. Watch it again that way and see what you think.
So somebody just threw an animation cell into
Sell
the
out,
garbage.
which I cannot believe. And things like this happen. It's incredible.
It does happen. The question becomes whether
We
it
just tilt that up
is,
just a little bit.
it is an actual production cell used in a cartoon or whether it's one of these limited editions. Now, I know Jay Ward still has a place right on Sunset Boulevard called Bullwinkle Emporium where he's
Yeah.
selling off old stuff left and right. But I do notice that the background here is hand-painted.
Hand-painted.
It's not a stamped or Xerox background. So this could be an original cell. And the background really adds to the value of that. If it is original from a cartoon, I'd probably say the centering of it is it's such a wonderful shot, probably anywhere between $500 and $1,000.
Yeah.
If it is one of these limited editions, $100.
I think it's more an original because of the clouds and just the way it's set. I go up to 1,000
So
instantly.
this needs to be taken to somebody
Yeah, to a cell appraiser, somebody who's a specialist in the
So
field.
that range could be 100 or it could be up to 1,000.
My instincts are going up to the 1,000 now,
Thousands.
I'll tell you.
Considering you found it in the trash, would you like to put it up for sale? Thank you so much. And this points to one more time, JD. One person's trash, somebody else's treasure.
You know, I thought he was going to say, no, I'm not going to sell it. It has I have sentimental attachment to it. But no. So now not only you have to check your drawers for stocks and bonds, check the trash. There may be an animation cell out there. All right, let's go out to Carmel, Indiana with Hans, who has an item he'd like to preview for us.
I'm going to have my Lionel train set appraised coming up next on Personal FX.
Welcome back to Personal FX. John Burke off this week, John Davis filling in. And a little bit later on, we're going to be meeting Dorothy, David Letterman's mom, seeing her condiment sets. And JD, I know David Letterman is a fan of cigars, but I'm wondering if we'll find out what else he's collected in the past or present.
I don't know. Maybe Io could ask that question. We'll have to see. I'm here with John Bruno, Rich Zelachowski, who are very dressed up, I was noticing.
Well, you didn't
guys
get the
look
memo,
great.
I know.
You look great today. All right, let's get going with the appraisals. Out in Carmel, Indiana is Hans. Hello, Hans. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Tell us
Glad
about
to be here.
Tell us about your train.
Well, my parents gave me this train in 1927. They've added a few cars since.
Wow.
It still runs. We put it around the Christmas tree every year.
That's great. Now, how many pieces are there, Hans? How many cars?
6 plus the engine.
Wow, look at that. What do you think, John?
When it comes to toys, Lionel trains are, about the best you can get. That's the one everybody wants. And this particular set, the 1920s and the 27 set, is the one that keeps popping up all the time in the books. It's very, very interesting. What engine do you have with this? Is that it right in front of us?
Hans, is that the engine right in front, the gold
right.
looking?
That's the engine.
That's
Still
the
runs.
engine.
This is the rare one, isn't it?
You don't see these around
This is
too much.
Yeah.
You absolutely don't. Hans, have you had these repainted or touched up over the years? I'm looking at the condition of it, and I can't believe my eyes. It's stupendous, for being a 70-year-old set now.
Hans, have you had those touched up or painted?
Pardon?
Have you had those touched up or repainted? Or
No,
is it the
that's
original paint?
It's
Yeah,
original.
It's original, okay.
I got to tell you, that
They've
engine
never
is...
been-
I'm sorry.
They've never been cleaned.
Okay, boy.
That engine is one of the rare engines. I think it's the 1237 model, if I'm not mistaken. The engine alone is listing in the books right now $1,400, roughly. The entire set, then, with these cars and the track, I'd start putting in the $2,500 range.
Yeah,
Rick?
seeing the original boxes there, I was going to say close to $3,000.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Interesting.
Hans, we're hearing $2,500 to $3,000. Would you like to take some offers?
I think I'd like to have some offers, yes.
All right, well, thank you very much. Thanks for joining us, and thanks for showing us your train set. If you'd like to bid on this item, give us a call at 212-802-0082. And now we have Gail. How are you, Gail?
Good. How are
And
you?
Gail has some Star Wars plates. Now, do you just have 2, or are there more?
No, this is a series of 8,
Uh-huh.
and this is the 10th anniversary plate.
Okay. Tell us about these. Where'd you get them, and what's the
They're-
history? You found them in the garbage.
It's part of my son's Star Wars collection.
Great, okay.
Very good.
Bum, 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 bum.
There he's going to sing. There you go. All right, Star Wars. We all know about Star Wars and exactly how collectible that is. These are the 1987 issues. This is 10 years after the beginning of the series, and that's the 10th anniversary plate. We're falling to that same problem. These are made to be collected, and they're part of these, quote, limited editions. Star Wars has become such an interesting area and so desirable that it starts even breaking into the 10th anniversary becomes a collectible in and of itself.
Limited edition, but a vague limited edition,
Vague
because
limited
as opposed
edition,
to
yeah.
telling you there are X amount of these made, they say little things like limited to 14 firing days.
Yeah.
Now, what you don't know is whether they make 1,000 of these a day or 100,000 of these a day. Basically, I think they make what the public's going to demand, and a lot of people who initially wanted these already have them, and it's the people who are just catching up in their collections or want to add interesting little wall decor who are fetching these now. I don't think they've appreciated in any great quantity over what you paid for.
Yeah.
them,
Again, these are the die-hard collectors. They will want them for their series and want them for their collection, but they're not going to want to pay a lot. And that 14 firing days, you can turn out hundreds of thousands of these, so the value is pretty low. You have how many?
There's 8 in this series and then just 1 for the anniversary.
I would put these in the $25 each range, so now you're looking at $200. And this one I'll go to $35.50 because it's one of a kind. So I'm very, very conservative with these.
You're looking at like, what, 235?
235 to 250.
I was going to say between 250 and 3.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you think, Gail? Would you like to take some bids,
I'll
or
take some bids.
your son going to keep them?
No, we'll take some bids.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for joining us. And now we have John coming in here with a Judy Garland album, A Star Is Born. How are you, John?
Yes, thank you very much, John. I'm fine.
Now, are you a Judy Garland fan?
I'm a Judy Garland fan. I'm a record collector, and this item is the original release of the soundtrack from 1954. It was subsequently re-released in more normal formats, but this has become, as I understand, very much sought after because of the ribboned box and the libretto that comes with it.
And it looks like it's in good condition.
Well,
the
as
box.
we know, Judy became a big star after this little low-budget number called Wizard of Oz, perhaps you've heard
that little ditty.
which went on to make her an international superstar. She was a darn good singer, did a lot of performing on Broadway and in private clubs, venues, etc. The key to records are two things. Actually, it's one thing. Condition, condition, condition.
Exactly.
This album you'd probably call near mint. It's been played, but quite lovingly. There are no outstanding scratches. It's in, like I said, near mint condition, as is the box with the insert. Now, I think the subsequent issues of these didn't have the inserts. They didn't have the box. They were just like a regular album.
Exactly.
A regular sleeve. So to soundtrack and record collectors, the general value of this piece is probably around $75 to $80.
That's pretty accurate. I go a tad higher. The thing is that when they were making these sorts of albums, they were meant to be collected, kept, not collected, but meant to be kept and cherished. That's where we want to go with this. So they don't do this anymore. They don't make these wonderful covers and the librettos and all the artwork. To have something in this condition, this is a one-of-a-kind first issue, I'd go to the 150 range. It's still, it's an affordable collectible, but it is special because they just don't do this anymore with albums.
So 75 to 150. Are you going to keep Judy in your collection, or are you going to entertain some offers?
Well, I'll entertain some offers on this.
Okay.
Right.
All right,
Thank you very
John.
much.
Thank you very much. Thanks for joining us. And now we have Paul, who is coming in with a cast iron toy. Tell us about this toy, Paul.
Well, this toy was given to me by my mother about 6 years ago, and prior to that, it's a mystery where it came from and how we acquired it.
Really? Did she find it in the attic or something?
Well, we're kind of pack rats, and who knows where she found it.
Okay.
All right, this is extremely interesting for a variety of reasons. It covers a point in space and time which a lot of people are uncomfortable with, but I'm going to bring it up. It's between the wars, just at the beginning of the Third Reich in Germany. This was made, and it's an anti-Semitic piece, is what it truly is. It's something that belongs as part of the history and the culture of a people's in the 1940s, 1930s, and 40s. Is a toy, obviously, meant at the time, but today transcends. I think a piece like this belongs in something like the Holocaust Museum because just as Black Americana is being collected and slave Americana is being collected by African Americans in this country, so is anti-Semitic and Holocaust memorabilia being collected and finally memorialized. That's what this needs to be done.
You would think it might be older by looking at it because it is very crudely made.
It is very crudely made, and it may well have been made by an individual for his or her own family. I would think it may have been a blacksmith at some time, or it may have been just roughly produced, mass-produced as a play toy just at the beginning of the war. Remember, between the wars in Germany, it was a pretty hard place to live. So you didn't have great metalsmithing being done at the time. There weren't very many factories going. It was the height of a worldwide depression. But this belongs as a piece of history, and I would love to see that donated to the Holocaust Museum. That's where this belongs.
So you wouldn't put a price on it?
I don't think it belongs as that sort of a collectible, personally. And I think most collectors are falling to that category with this right now. Rather than price it for sale, I would rather see it passed on as part of history.
Okay. Well, Paul? Rich?
Ask the man if he wants to entertain offers. I'd probably agree.
Really?
With John.
Would you like to entertain offers, or are you going to hold on to it?
Well, you've kind of put me on the spot.
No, you have to understand, and this people become uncomfortable with this, and we have to talk through it. It is something that happened. And just because it's more recent, it's very, very tender to us, but it is history. Don't become overburdened by that. It is your piece, and you can do it as you will. But as
I mean,
an
you
appraiser,
didn't know what you had, so
you
it's
do
not
know
like
what
you
have,
came here
you
with
learned, and that's what this show is about, to help you learn and to help the public learn. This is part of history.
Well, if there's anybody out there that may want to find the proper home for this,
Okay.
give us a holler.
All right. Thank you very much, Paul. All right. Let's go out to Io Haynes, who's in Carmel, Indiana, with David Letterman's mom.
Take a look at this, John. In order to be considered a mustard pot, a container must have a lid, a ladle-like spoon, and hopefully a little mustard inside so you don't confuse it with the sugar pot, which happens a lot. But thankfully, this container tells us exactly what it is. It was purchased here in Indiana by David Letterman's mom, Dorothy, and her collection has never been seen on TV before, not even on his show, The Late Show. You can only see it here on Personal FX in Carmel, Indiana.
Today's collector speak is Bristol slip. Now, Bristol slip is an opaque white mixture of clay, water, and zinc oxide that is used to glaze stoneware. So today's collector speak, Bristol slip.
Just repeat it a couple of times
Bristol
and you'll...
slip, Bristol slip, Bristol slip.
Remember that one.
That's right. That's the hip slip. That's another thing.
Welcome back to Personal FX. And let's tell you about the items that are up for sale right now, starting with the Steiff Dolls. We have several of them. They are limited edition dolls. 3, they date back from about 1986, 87, and $300 to $600 for all. Now, they weren't designed to be collectible. We also have a beautiful pocket watch that has an appraised value of from $500 to $1,000. It is a Patek Philippe, made back in the 1920s to the 1930s. It still works, and it's 18-karat gold. And then the Rocky and Bullwinkle animation cell. It was just found in the garbage. If it's an original, it could be worth up to $500, $1,000. If it was just designed to be collectible, then it could be about $100.
All right, also out in Indiana, we have the Lionel train set, which is valued at between $2,500 and $3,000. Has 6 cars, the engine, the original boxes, it's from 1927 and it still runs. It looks like a great set. Also, we have the Star Wars plates. There are 9 all total from the 80s in mint condition. They're valued at between $235 and $300 for all of them. We also have the Judy Garland record, A Star is Born. It's from 1954. It's in great condition. It has the box with the ribbon, valued at between $75 and $150.
A lot of her fans still out there.
A lot of her fans still out there.
So, if you see something you like, here's what you do. You call us at 212-802-0082. You know, I always felt like I got to know David Letterman's mom by watching a show all the time.
I did too. I did the same thing. And today's super collector, she is a woman truly of many talents. She covered the Olympics. She wrote a cookbook. And she even interviewed the First Lady of the United States for her son, David Letterman. So let's take a look at Dorothy and Hillary.
He said, is there anything you or your husband can do about the speed limit in Connecticut?
That sounds like a very personal inquiry from your son. Has he gotten into trouble?
Oh, he has a heavy foot.
Does he have a heavy? So does my husband. What is it about some of these guys with heavy feet?
I don't know, but he has received more tickets from the Connecticut troopers than I think he cares to count.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, that was cute.
So now we know he has a collection of speeding tickets.
That's right. That's what he collects.
Right.
Well, we're going to find out what Dorothy collects. She's with Io Haynes out in Carmel, Indiana. Hello, Io. Hello, Dorothy.
Hello. You know, I think Dorothy is going to be so famous that we're going to be referring to her as Dorothy, mother of David Letterman.
Right.
I don't think so.
You'll be more famous than he is. So now tell us, you said that David doesn't really collect anything?
Not that I know about. I understand he has so many bottles of hot sauce, Tabasco sauce in his office, but that's all. That is a collection.
He likes spicy food, huh?
He likes spicy food.
Okay. Now, you were talking earlier about how these condiment sets started from your childhood. Now, I understand there's a connection here with your daughters also.
Yes. This little set of 4 little salt cellars and 4 spoons were given to me by my daughter a couple of years ago for my birthday.
These are gorgeous.
They are. They're very precious.
Now, these are from made of Nippon.
Nippon,
So from China or Japan, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Now, these are gorgeous. Now, you have 4. Do you use them when the family comes over?
At Thanksgiving time. They're very special, and so I only use them on very special occasions.
Oh, that's wonderful. Are the spoons easier to find than, say, the pots itself?
The pots are easier to find than the spoons. The spoons are very difficult to find. So
you actually have one that took you quite a while to find.
Several years ago, we were in Newmarket, Maryland. The town is famous for its antique shops, and we took in every antique shop that was open that afternoon, and I only found 1 little salt spoon. That's this one. So,
is it more dear to you when it takes that long to find?
I don't know. I think the fun of it is looking for them, and then finding them, of course, is very special. But I love them all.
So your family loves salt. I also understand they love mustard.
Yes.
How does mustard play a role in the family?
My
What
children
meals?
have always had mustard on their scrambled eggs or their fried eggs.
Wow.
Not on poached eggs, but it's unusual for somebody to put mustard on
I've
their
heard of
eggs.
ketchup on eggs, but not mustard.
Ketchup, but not mustard, but they like mustard. So
when they were kids, is that when you decided to pick up a few mustard spoons?
no, actually, I got this one mustard spoon in North Conway, New Hampshire at an antique shop. I was looking for salt spoons. They didn't have one, but they had this little, I had to ask her what it was.
Right.
And she said, it's a mustard spoon. So I bought it. I didn't know what I was going to do with it. But then I discovered mustard pots. So that's kind of what led to this collection of mustard pots.
Now, this particular one that's up here is your favorite. Why is that?
Well, it's pierced silver with a cobalt lining.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
And several years ago, the Folger Coffee Company had a silver exhibit at the Indiana State Museum, and there was lots of pierced silver pieces with cobalt linings. So when I saw this, and it needed polishing so badly, it was so tarnished, it was a mess.
So because of that tarnished look on it, did you get a good deal for it?
I'm not sure. I think I got a good deal. I don't know why, but but I brought it home and polished it.
Oh, it's great. Now let's take a look at your oldest piece in the collection.
It's this one right here. I got that one in Wakefield Scarce Galleries in Shelbyville, Kentucky. It is oak with a cobalt lining again.
Oh, okay.
It is circa 1870, so it is the oldest one I have.
It's in great condition.
Yes, it is.
Why do you think the cobalt linings were used?
To hold the mustard without damaging the container.
That makes sense. So this is really a cross-collectible. People who love cobalt blue glass would love to have that.
Yes, I think they would.
So let's talk about the one you just purchased yesterday.
That's this one. It is hand-painted, signed by the artist, and dated.
Let's show it to the camera.
And it was just so sweet, I had to buy it.
Where did you find it?
At an antique shop here in Carmel.
Do they know you around here?
Yes, they do.
Save all the mustard pots for you.
Well, not really. But anyway, and the fact that I was going to be on this show did influence me just a little bit to buy this. But not, I wanted it to, so.
I want to thank you so much for letting us in your home and sharing your morning with us today.
Well, it's been a pleasure having you.
Thank you.
Dorothy, is it easy for your family to know what to buy you since you collect all of these mustard and condiment sets?
Do they always buy you mustard pots?
No, they don't. I bought all of these myself.
So David doesn't speed from antique shop to antique shop picking you up pieces?
I don't know. He doesn't do that. But they are kind of scarce.
That's great. Thank you very much, Io. Thank you, Dorothy.
You're welcome.
Thank you for letting us into your home. Now, I wonder if those pieces are more valuable because David Letterman used some of them. Seriously, I wonder if it adds to the value.
The provenance?
Sort of like a Jackie Kennedy thing, perhaps down the road.
Very interesting.
But I think also sometimes the nicest gifts are the ones you buy yourself.
That's
you buy
right.
exactly what you want for yourself.
All right, later on in the show, we're going to show you about the collectability of antique stocks and bonds. We have an expert here who's going to give us all the information coming up next on Personal FX.
If you live in Charleston, South Carolina, Personal FX is heading your way next week. Then the week of June 2nd through the 6th will be in Lincoln, Nebraska. We're then heading to Cape Cod, Massachusetts for the week of June 9th through the 13th. Here's how it works. If you got a lot of any one item, you fall into the super collector category, or just one item you want to have appraised, call us at 1-800-FX-FX-FX1. And Bob is joining us now for an appraisal. You brought in such an interesting, is this a telescope?
It's a telescope.
Where'd you get it?
Well, I worked in a house about in the early 40s, and I was up in a lady's attic, and it was laying on the floor. I asked her if she wanted to sell it. She said, "It'd be likely it's yours."
Rich, what do you think?
This is beautiful. I don't know if the camera can get a close look, but it's actually dated 1896.
1865.
I'm sorry, 65. I'm looking at it upside down. H.G. Fitz, New York. So this piece is well over 100 years old, and the condition of it is simply immaculate.
What's interesting, these old telescopes, these are individual pieces of wood that are laid together to form the wooden barrel, usually mahogany or cherry wood, then hand-ground opticals. Vintage optical equipment is becoming very, very, very desirable, both as a function and as a decorative
This
piece.
falls into a very good condition as far as...
This falls into near mint condition, Claire. I mean, this is fantastic, down to the counterbalance and just the mechanisms involved in this.
Give me a price.
Probably between $1,000 and $1,800, and that might be way conservative.
Yeah, I know this piece. The only thing that's different, this is an add-on, and it's not from the same vintage, but very close. This is roughly now going in the $5,000 to $6,000 range. Yeah, Fitz, I think it's the Fitz Corporation that made them, that was the parent of the New York Telescope Company.
Quite a range.
Very,
You've
very,
got
very
it for the
good
right
piece.
price. Would you like to put it up for sale?
Why not?
Why not? And thank you so very much. Our number to call is 212-802-0082. If you would excuse us, Mildred is waiting in the rec room for an appraisal. Hi, Mildred. Welcome to the program. You brought a very interesting lamp. Please meet Rich and John. Tell us about it.
Well, it belonged to my grandmother, and then after she died, my father inherited it, and then when he died, I inherited it.
What are we looking at?
Oh, I know this piece.
Go ahead.
All right. I have heard rumors of this piece, and I have never seen it. There are 3 of them made, and it was made by Tiffany. It's called the Alibaba lamp, or the 40 Thieves lamp. Was made as a decorative piece for use in the store. So if you get underneath this, you will find the original markings that identify who made it. It was never meant to be sold to customers. It was a store display piece.
The illusion, I mean, the camera's looking at this. I don't know if they can get a close-up. This looks like draped material. This is all solid. This lamp has to weigh at least 20 pounds.
Yeah.
This is a solid
I put
lamp
it on
here.
the scale at weight 21.
How interesting they're able to get this draped effect. So
Yeah.
how valuable a piece are we looking at?
Probably in the $10,000 to $15,000
Yeah,
range.
it's made by Tiffany, and
Yeah.
it's, you know, there are only a couple that exist,
Good piece.
10,000 plus.
I think your mouth was just open. If it is worth all of 10 to 15,000.
Yeah.
Had you been thinking about putting this up for sale?
I'll think about it.
The two of them have given you
Seriously.
something to think about.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for bringing us it in so we could take a look at it. And let's go back to Indiana and see what Maggie has brought in. Hi, Maggie. Welcome to the program.
Good morning.
Please tell us about your quilt.
My mother was a quilt maker, and this is one that I have that was made 75 years ago. I think it's very pretty. It's my favorite.
Very lovely. We'll be happy to appraise it for you.
It looks like Tree of Life, is it? The,
I'm not certain what the pattern is.
Yeah, it's a newer version of Tree of Life. Interesting.
Is your mom's initials or signature embroidered anywhere on it?
No,
Okay.
they're not.
Is it more of a queen size, king size, full
It's
size?
for a full
Full
size.
Okay,
size,
for a full
okay.
size.
Quilts are desired because they're art and
Yes.
because they're functional art. You can use them and still have a piece of art in your home. We know the date of this, obviously. We know it is handmade, so it falls into home craft or that sort of folk arty type thing.
The quilts fall into different values.
Different values. This is a little bit newer, so it's still going to be there, but I'd put this around $300 to $500.
I'd probably be a little bit more conservative, say
Yeah.
2 to 4.
Okay.
Okay. In that particular price range, would you like to put it up for sale?
No, it's an heirloom. It'll go
Yeah.
to my grandchildren.
Oh, that's a great thing to do with it. Thank you so much for sharing it with us today.
Thank you.
Okay. Time now to get out those old stocks and bonds, JD.
That's right, Claire. We're with the man who's going to tell us all about it. This is Caleb Esterline. He's a researcher with R.M. Smythe. Now, R.M. Smythe is an auction house
and dealers as
and
well.
dealer as well. Okay, now look at this. Here we have some bonds, and then we have stocks from a number of different companies. This is the Lionel Corporation, Ringling Brothers, and Disney. What's the difference between a stock and a bond?
When you have a stock, you're actually buying a part of the company, and with a bond, you're loaning money to the company to get interest from them.
Okay,
on
so
your money.
you're loaning
You're
them
loaning
at
it, so-
hopefully a high rate of interest.
Yes.
That's as an investor, that's what you want. All right, let's talk about the age and condition as it applies to value of a stock.
This certificate that I brought is from the North American Land Company. It stated 1795.
So that's obviously
That's
very,
obviously
very old.
It's signed by Robert Morris, who also signed the Declaration of Independence.
So there you have an autograph that's valuable.
And he was also very important in the Revolutionary War. He was the financier of the Revolution.
Wow. So what's the value of a piece like this?
This piece will probably sell for anywhere from $1,500 upwards to $2,500.
Wow. Now you were talking about the autograph. Now this, you know, I'm sure the autograph, who signed the certificate, has a lot to do with it. Now this one was signed by David Buick.
David Buick.
And then we have one here that was signed by Thomas Edison.
Actually, his signature is on the back.
And then this one was signed by J.D. Rockefeller.
Right there's Thomas Edison.
Thomas Edison. And then this one is from President Harding.
Warren Harding.
So tell us about these and the importance of who signed the document.
Often, certificates were signed by the president of the company, or they were issued to an important person, such as this one that was issued to Thomas Edison. He actually owned stock as his own company, so he has autographed it to signify his ownership.
Wow. Okay, so what's the value of this? Are these more valuable than that one, or about the same?
About the same value. Had the standard oil been issued, it would run about $10,000 to $15,000. When a stock is not issued, is not worth as much as a stock that is issued.
Okay, we were talking about rarity. Now, what about, or we were talking about age. What about rarity? If it's, you know, there aren't very many out there. How does that affect the price?
Obviously, many of these are not. This is probably, on this one down here, it was from 1799. It created the Department of the Navy.
Okay, and that was an event.
That was a historical event.
So if something's tied into an historical event, then that adds to the value too, right?
Yes.
Okay, quickly, what is this one worth about?
Upwards of $5,000. It will be auctioned June 21st in Memphis at the International Paper Money Show.
Great. Okay, and we have one here from American Express. Now, if someone finds stocks and bonds at home in a drawer, in a chest or whatever, how should they go about establishing a value?
Well, obviously, my first answer is that we are dealers, and they can get a catalog from us. We can tell them about how to establish a value for it, and so on.
Okay, so call a dealer. Call someone who knows. Okay, thank you. Caleb Esterline from R.M. Smythe. Little information about antique stocks and bonds. We'll be back with more Personal Effects right after this.
Welcome back to Personal FX. Joan Burke on vacation and John Davis sitting in. These are the following items that are getting bids right now. Starting with the Steiff Dolls that have been appraised at $300 to $600 for all three. And they are dating back from 1986, 1987. They are limited edition dolls. We have a lovely pocket watch, a valuable pocket watch, appraised at $500 to $1,000. Rich, that's
Patek Philippe.
I like it when you say it. Okay. It still works, 1920s to the 30s, and it is 18 karat gold. And then the Rocky and Bullwinkle animation cell. It always amazes me what people throw out in the garbage. It's thrown out in the garbage. Worth $500 to $1,000. It's an original, and it had a hand-painted background, but it could be worth about $100 if it was a limited edition.
But limited editions don't have hand-painted backgrounds. That's the key.
Aha. All right, now in Indiana, Hans had that great Lionel train set valued at between $2,000 and $3,000, or $2,500 and $3,000. It's 6 cars, the engine, all the original boxes from 1927, still runs $2,500 to $3,000. We also have the Star Wars plates. There are 9 total from 1980s, also in mint condition, between $235 and $300 for all of them, all 9. We also have the Judy Garland record from 1954. It's in great condition. It's valued at between $75 and $150.
Speaking of great condition, that wooden telescope, you know, we say things and we don't have any idea what value it is until Rich and John said $5,000 to $6,000, fully functional, over 100 years old, immaculate. Was that how you described it? Immaculate condition? So we've got quite a range of items to bid on. And if you're interested, our number to call is 212-802-0082.
All right, right now let's go back out to Indiana with Emily, who has a German Stein she would like to have appraised. Hello, Emily.
Hello.
How are you? Tell us about your Stein.
This was included in a gift pack that was given to my father sometime between 1938 and 41.
Wow. Now, are there any markings on it, Emily, that we should know about?
There are some numbers on the base.
Uh-huh. John, Rick?
Can you do it? Just turn it around in front of the camera so we can get a good view of all the different sides.
Wow.
Yeah, basic, generic.
It looks like
porcelain,
it
yeah.
even be a giftware piece from back in the 40s. First of all, it's not considered a stein because it doesn't have a lid. Steins
right.
always have lids to them. We'll just call this a mug for now. It does depict, typical German folk, dancing folklore type theme. Not on the high end of the stein.
And also the size, which would tend to bring it more into the giftware range rather than a functional mug or part of a set.
Unless you're a conservative drinker.
There you go. Or could be a training mug.
Do the marks on the bottom have any significance?
Strictly the blank number.
Really?
As with all pottery, we always assign a blank number. Give me the number 38 mold, we'll make some steins or some mugs. And that's what this is. Interesting piece.
A little bit of chip there.
A little chip on the bottom, which will affect it.
Okay.
So probably somewhere in the $35 range, as is.
I would agree, $25 to $35.
Yep.
25. Okay, Emily, we're hearing $25 to $35. Are you going to hold on to it, or would you like to entertain some bids?
I don't want to take any bids, thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Emily, for joining us. And say hello to Dave's mom for us. There we go. Thank you very much.
And now let's turn to our mailbag. We have Ken on the line from Seattle, Washington. Hi, Ken. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
How are you doing today?
Just fine, thanks.
You had written us about your cigarette dispenser, so please tell the audience where you found it.
Well, actually, I bought it from a coin dealer. And it's made of rosewood and measures 7.5 by 4.5 inches and is about 5 inches high. The 7 small inlays on the sides and the top are made of either ivory or bone. I did do the test for plastic with a hot tin, and so they're not plastic. I could find no marks or anything on the piece that would help identify it.
Well, let's appraise it for you, Rich.
Okay.
This falls into the genre of classic tacky. It's a wonderful piece and quite a popular design. What you do, there's a little white handle on the side of the box. You would pull the handle. The bird bows his head. At the same time, the cigarettes come out of the cigarette holder there, and in his beak pops a cigarette, and you can take it out from there. So just a novelty dispenser, which still continue to be produced to this day.
Oh, yeah.
Most likely in plastic or cheap, cheap metals.
As with all tobacco-related memorabilia, it's becoming in vogue again, which is not such a good thing, but...
But as a novelty dispenser, how much is it worth?
Okay. Probably around 100 and a quarter, 250.
I'd agree. This one's nicely done with the inlay and the detail, 1 to 150.
It's kind of fun.
Up to $150. Ken, were you thinking about putting it up for sale?
Sure, I'd love to entertain offers.
We'll be happy to. Thank you so much for being part of today's Personal FX.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Ken, and we will be back with...
Big bids.
Big bids, coming up next.
Welcome back to Personal FX. We really enjoy this part of the show. It's big bid time.
How many times are we going to hear sold? That's what we want to know.
Let's go back out to Carmel, Indiana. Hans, we want to let you know for your Lionel train set, we have an offer from Russ from Long Beach, California, for everything $3,250.
Yeah, I'll have to think about it.
Please do.
Right.
Thank you. And Marlena for your Steiff Dolls, Maryland from Pearl River, New York, would like them for $550.
Sold.
Sold. Dave for your lovely pocket watch, Esther from Marysville, Washington, is offering $1,125.
Think about it. For just a day. Just think about it.
Ooh. And Craig for your animation cell, Enid from Buffalo, New York, would like it for $500.
I'll think about it.
All right, and Gail for your Star Wars plates, Diane from Billings, Montana, is offering $335 for all.
I'll think about it.
She'll think about it. We have a lot of thinking going on. John, for your Judy Garland record, Mary from Carn City, Pennsylvania, is offering $115.
Over the rainbow to you.
I think that means so.
Yeah, I think so.
Bob for the wooden telescope, Malcolm from Richmond, Virginia, is offering $1,000.
No thanks.
No, thank you. All right, let's go back out to Carmel, Indiana with Io Haynes and our great super collector, Dorothy. Great segment today.
Thank you very much, and I want to thank Dorothy. Her recipe books is out in bookstores today. Her recipe with her son, David Letterman. Tomorrow, we're looking at racing collection because the Indy 500 is coming up on Saturday.
That's great. Thank you, Dorothy. Thank you, Io.
Thank you, Dorothy. Say hi to Dave.
Are there a lot of mustard recipes in that book? Do
We'll
you
have
wonder?
to find out.
We'll have to find
I
out.
also want to thank Rich Zelichowski and John Bruno for our appraisals today. Thanks to all of you in the apartment and to all of you at home for being part of our show. Make the most of your day. We'll see you back here tomorrow.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.